things that's highly valued in Spanish culture is the sort of personal stamp that one puts on the art of flamenco.
Flamenco in an intimate venue is the best way to get the maximum appreciation for it.
Shows like this one, we don't rehearse. So it's a kind of jam session, but with rules.
Hi, this is Alpha Retrenger Spotlight. Tonight we're here at Thirsty Bear Restaurant. Thirsty Bear is here on Howard at 3rd in the city's SOMA district. So we're going to try to catch a little bit of flamenco, as tonight is flamenco night on Sundays. So let's go catch a show. So Kerensa, tell us a little bit about yourself and what your role is here at Thirsty Bear.
Sure. We call it the Flamenco Room. It's a weekly flamenco show every Sunday night. We do 2 sets. It's free to the public. And I've been running the show just over 8 years, since early 2004.
Do you dance here in the Bay Area, or are you from afar?
Yes, I do. I've been in the Bay Area since 1991. I spent 8 years abroad studying flamenco in Spain.
Oh, wow.
And I came back here 8 years ago, and just by chance, friends of friends introduced me to the staff at Thirsty Bear, and I started running the show here.
Oh, good. So how long have you been dancing?
Well, I started as a tribal-style belly dancer here in San Francisco, and then I was sort of bitten by the flamenco bug, so to speak. I saw a performance at UC Berkeley, and I just fell in love. So I started taking classes here for about a year, and then in 1997 I moved to Madrid to study. I wasn't expecting to stay for 8 years, but one thing led to another, and I did, and I just loved it.
Do you also perform at other venues other than the Thirsty Bear?
I do. There's a couple of other venues that have weekly flamenco shows. There's Peña Pachamama in North Beach that has a live flamenco show on Thursday nights. There's Picaro Tapas that has a flamenco show on Saturday nights. And in addition to that, we flamencos of the Bay Area put on theater shows at different times of the year. So we're both doing the performance in kind of an intimate cuadro setting, and then we do larger shows at theaters in the Bay Area and beyond sometimes.
Okay. So can you explain just a little bit about the concept of the cuadro? Because you mentioned cuadro setting. How does that differ from a grander audience?
Well, the cuadro show is basically, it's here at Thirsty Bear, for example, our cuadro show is 4 artists. We have 2 dancers, a guitarist and a singer, and collaborative performance. So each artist does a solo piece at some point during the evening, but we also collaborate on group numbers. There's a lot of spontaneity to it, a lot of really active communication between the artists as the show is progressing, and it makes it kind of very much alive and fun for the audience to watch.
So again, that in talking about that intimate setting, that one-on-one interaction almost with the audience member and as dancer, do you feel that you give off a certain vibe or characteristic that differs, that maybe differentiates Kerensa from any other dancer?
Well, I think one of the wonderful things about flamenco is that it is an art form where it's a cultural art form. But one of the things that's highly regarded in flamenco is the individual personality and how it manifests through flamenco. So one of the beautiful things, and the reason I try and change the artists here weekly, is so that people get to see lots of different performers. Every dancer has her own unique personality, and that definitely shines through in our dancing.
Melissa, tell us a little bit about where you come from and what makes you a part of flamenco.
I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana. I came out here to the Bay Area to attend UC Berkeley, and it was there that I was exposed to flamenco. I was taking a Spanish culture class at UC Berkeley, and the professor showed a movie, Carmen, the flamenco version of the opera Carmen. I saw the shoes and I thought, I better do that.
What are some of the items that you kind of think, you know what, it may not necessarily be totally flamenco, but I like wearing it? Or maybe earrings, or a particular pair of shoes, or a certain color of skirts. Is there anything that, that kind of pushes that artistic envelope when it comes to what you wear?
Flamenco costuming, its origins for women are long dresses with lots of ruffles and polka dots and vibrant colors. And in recent years, it's developed into sort of a more pared down version of that with just straight skirts and more like street wear. The shoes now come in different materials that are not so orthodox. Leather shoes that dancers wore back in the day are now snakeskin or polka dots embroidered, all different variations. Wow. Yeah.
So do you have a particular item or accessory or pair of shoes that you seem to kind of gravitate to? I know I do. I love dance, I love food, and I love fashion. So that's kind of like why we're here encapsulating all three of these. So any particular item that just kind of, I need to have these at a particular time?
Yes. I was actually in the market for a new pair of flamenco shoes a couple of years ago. I was perusing a website from a company called Sinovia, and I saw that they had in stock these pair of flamenco shoes that were actually came in a fuzzy leopard print. And that reminded me of my childhood, and I had to have them. And they only had one pair in stock. So I had a friend who was going to Madrid, and so I asked her to pick them up for me. She did, and she brought them back to me, and I love them.
And so they only had one pair, so it was pretty much meant to be, right? If we could say that.
They were meant to be for me.
Dance seems to be nowadays, and I think since its inception, it's been a lot about the individual artistic expression. So if there were one thing or maybe a couple of things that you would try to impart to the audience, what's one of the things that they want, that you want them to get out of your performance? To say, you know what, gosh, I saw Melissa and such.
I think what I would like for the audience to get from a performance that I'm in is just raw emotion, because that's really what I feel when I dance.
And then of course, with that audience interaction, I guess we, watching you, have to give that raw emotion to you, right?
That helps, absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where do you come from?
I'm from Spain, actually from the south of Spain, from Cordoba. I don't know if you heard about the wonderful city. It's one of the biggest places in flamenco in Spain. It's many good artists are coming from there, like Vicente Amigo, El Pele, you know, many dancers and singers. I studied in my own city in Cordoba with very talented people. You know, I was playing for dancers almost all my life. So I took some classes in one studio called Antonio y Mariví. So there are national prizes in flamenco dancing in there with under the supervision of Merengue de Córdoba and Antonio Flores, my master actually. And yeah, I took classes also with different masters in Spain. And actually here last year, so Diego del Moral, the guy who signed the guitar, and you know some other masters coming here to the Bay Area. So we took some classes and master lessons with them.
it's not the traditional guitar that most people would hear, but it's beautiful. It's something that is a little bit more technical for the average guitar player. How are you received by audiences?
That's a good question. The best gift I get when I'm playing is that they are clapping and they are enjoying the dancing. So I'm trying to support the dancers to make the dancing as spectacular as possible. So if they are clapping the dancers, so we feel that we are doing our job well. And then we have like a 5-10% of the audience who know guitar, and after the show they are coming and saying, "Oh, I like the technique because we don't play with a pick, we are playing with our nails."
Wow.
So it's a different thing. So most people who play guitar are interested also in the flamenco technique.
Do you instruct here in the Bay Area?
Yeah, I'm teaching. So today, for example, we gave a workshop accompanying a singer, which is when you are playing flamenco guitars, usually you are not only by your own. So we are like a group, so we are not soloists. So sometimes you have to instruct people not only to know how to play one particular style, but also how to have a communication. But we have to understand each other, because we have to start here and finish there. It's a kind of jam session, but with rules, and we have specific calls. We call calls in which I'm saying, "Hey, I'm finished my part, so it's your turn to start singing," or she's leading the group and looking at us saying, "I need to breathe." That kind of communication without saying anything, that's really important for the students, for example, to understand.
It's pretty much a team effort, a true team cohesive unit.
I could say that no one of our performances are the same one.
In parting, what are some of the things that you want the average audience member like myself to gather from your team effort and from you playing guitar? What do you want me to feel?
From me to you, I think that probably when I'm playing a happy tonality, you can feel that it's something rhythmically fun, and sometimes something very sad or slow tempo. So I want you to feel, the depth of the music. It's like, wow. If you are able to catch that there are different things with different moods, that would be awesome.
Música universal, que estamos somos gitanos, que estamos somos gitanos, cantamos música universal, que estamos somos gitanos, y en la cultura del pueblo, lo que nosotros cantamos, para que no te lío, con la guitarra en la mano, que estamos a la vía, como los buenos gitanos.
I love this girl.